Hello, everyone. Earthy Wise Woman here. I am trying something new. As you can see, I'm wearing a headset and a microphone. I like to believe that's going to improve my sound. We're going to try it. We're going to see. Today, I would like to talk to you about spells and magic and the magical life, how it relates to the mundane, and how it relates to the magical and the mundane. How do we merge these two together, or do they merge together? Now, the reason I bring this up is because I'm finding that a lot of people who want to be, well, for better say of the word, kick ass witches. And I'm like, okay, that's great. So I'm talking to these people. We're having a great conversation. And I asked them about their mundane life. And I find it fascinating that a lot of times they don't want to talk about their mundane life. They just want to talk about witchcraft and how important witchcraft is to them and their magical life. So then I turn around and I'm like, let's talk about your mundane life. And as the conversation continues, a lot of times they're going through bad relationships with toxic people. Um, they don't have a very good diet. They're unemployed, or they're not happy in their current employment. Um, not getting enough rest. They don't exercise, even a little bit. They just don't. They can't find time to meditate. Anyway, yada yada yada. You get the idea. This goes on and on and on. The list continues, and I then have to ask, well, how in the world are you an effective practitioner of the craft if your mundane world is so toxic? And I've gotten interesting responses. Some people say they transcend their mundane, or other people say that, well, they're casting spells in order to change the mundane. And I realize that needs to be addressed. So, here we go. People, you want to be an effective practitioner. You want to be the practitioner who is able to go out and impinge upon the universe. All right, that's great. Here's a good way to start by to be an effective, powerful practitioner. Clean your house. Eat a salad. Cut down on your red meat. Go to bed. Get at least 6 to 7 hours of sleep. 8 would be preferable. Exercise. Take a walk outside for at least 30 minutes. Every other day, I believe, is what they suggest. In other words, you have to work on your mundane in order to work on your magical. They go together, people. They go together. All right? Stop thinking you can slack on your mundane life and be this kick ass practitioner in your magical life. It's not going to happen. In fact, it is preferable that you have a structured mundane life way more than you have a magical one. Because believe it or not, if you have a structured mundane life, magical life will fall right into line very easily because you have structure there. I tell a lot of people when they say things like, I want to cast magical spells. Okay, do you want them to be effective? Yeah, I want to win the lottery. And I'm thinking, well, that's great. You want to win the lottery. That's great. It really is great. Do you have a job? How are you paying your bills? You're going to spend money on lottery tickets, but you haven't even been able to afford, to pay the light bill? You got a problem here, honey. How are you going to be able to cast a spell when you can't even have electricity in a house? Oh, you're about to lose the house. Wow. So how are you going to cast a spell? You have a place to live. Let's get everything in order. And this is what I suggest to people. The greatest spells that you can cast as a practitioner are the spells dealing with your mundane existence. In other words, I would suggest to anybody, um, before you cast a spell to win the lottery, why don't you cast a spell to be able to have enough money to put food on the table? Because food is fuel for your body and for your mundane mind, so you can work with the magic that you need to work with. All right? Why don't we cast a spell for structure? Why don't we cast a spell to make sure that we have our heads together before we go out and do magic? Because one does affect the other. They go together like a horse and carriage. What did they say? Love and marriage goes together like a horse and carriage. Well, magical and mundane go together the same exact way. And don't get the two of them um, like, I'm magical. My mundane is screwed up, but I'm magical. All right, then work on your mundane. They go together. In fact, I would dare say, and I have said it already in this video, your mundane comes first. If you put your mundane life in order, the magical will follow. Years ago, I was working a rather decent job. However, I was connected to a very toxic person. I was paying all the bills, and this person was letting me pay all the bills. And because I was so fixated on trying to just make sure we paid the bills, I didn't realize how much this was affecting my magical life. And this is where that this is where I'm doing the flip for you. So listen. And that's when I realized, okay, I'm paying all the bills. I'm tired. We have a roof over our heads. I'm sick. We have enough to eat. I am constantly fatigued. So that's when I had to start thinking, well, wait a minute. My house is only partially in order here. That's when I started meditating and I started having to look at my mundane, which was in order, but I saw that it was taking an effect on my spiritual life. And that's when I realized, okay, this isn't healthy. And I started asking myself the tough questions. Instead of casting a spell to repair my relationship, I decided to take the mundane approach and talk to my spouse and explain to them what was needed and what was wanted by me and how what they were doing was affecting me. I explained to him, I'm tired. I need you to pick up the slack. I don't like working two jobs. I need help. He informed me that he was starting his business, and yeah, it was kind of taking off, but he needed to take the money to invest more into his business. And I'm like, okay, great. But you need to also take some money and invest in the bills of our home. He hummed, he hawed, and he told me, well, if you was more supportive of me, you would just understand. And I said, okay, you know, I've got to be honest. I don't understand, and I cannot be supportive. And I divorced him. Now, some people may say, my God, that's harsh. It wasn't harsh. It wasn't harsh, and I'm not defending my actions. It wasn't harsh because I did tell him what was needed and wanted, and I did inform him that I was sick and needed help.